We have these negative beings that do actually appear reptilian. They have vertical slit pupils, they have the scaly skin, they don't really have any long tails. They might have short little stubby tails. They do have claws on their fingers and feet. They don't have horns on their head. They do have the vertical slit pupils. They are very muscular, and they're very, very ferocious and terrifying. And they have been the ones that are going around and invading planets and causing trouble. And this seems to be where we get this archetypal idea of Satan and demons. Because when we look at what we think that is, it looks very, very similar to how these beings look.
This object came in from inside of the galaxy. So it's not an intergalactic, it's galactic, but it's interplanetary. And come to find out, this thing altered its course to make its route to come through our solar system. And not only come through it, but take a scenic route. In other words, like the vacation stops. Let's go see the rings of Saturn. Let's go see Jupiter. Let's go see the moons. You know, it was a crazy thing. But also its ability to eject some type of mass or thrust out of the back. And then it had the capability of ejecting thrust out of the front. So it was making these course corrections and this slowing down and speeding up. The big thing about this was the scan of the actual physical body of this object. If it was a meteorite or an asteroid, it would normally give off some type of outgassing as it got closer to the sun. And that could create artificial course corrections because of the gassing. But this thing was giving off the actual signature of iron, but not just any kind of iron, like machined iron. And we know exactly what that is because we do it here on Earth. And so they also saw some patterns on the outside of this object, which shouldn't be there, geometric type patterns. And then as it got closer to the sun, all eyes were watching to see if it would use the sun as a gravitational assist and then move off and increase speed without gravity force. And it did. So this thing is accelerating on its own. So it had to slow down as it approached the sun, because if you come into the sun too fast and you're trying to use it for gravitational assist, you can skip off of the heliosphere and you can bounce out into deep space, right? If this thing is just a rock, that's what could have happened at the speed it was coming in. It slowed down so it can obtain a Lagrange point to grab a stable orbit around the sun, swing around the sun. Then it turned bright blue as if a shield came on, like a heat shield. It started glowing brighter than the sun itself. This is crazy stuff. No asteroid or comet has ever done this in our recorded history. And as it swung around the sun, it came into perihelion. Then all of a sudden, this thing just started picking up speed on its own. And I mean, so to me, and now I interviewed Avi Loeb a second time. He tried to get the images from NASA because NASA had rendezvous with this thing when it got by Mars. They have HD quality photos and images and video, but they won't release it to anyone. And the scientific community is going, what is going on? Normally, this is like standard. You give it, even if we can't present it to the public, we get it. They will not release the photos and videos of this image. And everyone's pissed off. Like the whole scientific community is really in an uproar because they want this data, but NASA won't release it. Their excuse was, oh, the government's in shutdown. They can reply to all the emails, they just can't attach the video to reply.
They have figured out a way to keep people in their peak on the chemical DMT. They're actually mapping out the DMT realm itself, which should be impossible if you're just doing drugs and you're getting high. But it's not just doing drugs and getting high. If 100 different people encounter the same beings during this process, it seems like to me that there is a runaway or breakaway faction within our government that has sequestered a group of esoteric information. This is why we don't see the book of Enoch in the Bible, where in Enoch, he talks about how fallen angels was giving us technology, having children with human women. And then we look at actual statements from Abraham Lincoln when he said about the extinct giants that are buried in the burial mounds all across North America. These are his direct quotes. I've been to Winnemucca, Nevada. People always tell me about the giant bones at the Winnemucca Museum. I go to find those bones, they're not there. People say, yes, Smithsonian took them. And now they're saying they were never there. But there's people there saying, no, I took my kids here to see it. My kids are adults now. And we know they were there. And Abraham Lincoln is speaking about it. So this means to me that there is a group who has sold us all out in exchange for control. They sold us all out. And only a rebellion is what's going to be able to free us.
The real Epstein files, like the physical ones, it can be found in the new Grand Theft Auto video game. There's a mission in the Grand Theft Auto video game that is basically imitating the whole island of Epstein Island. The setting of the video game takes place in Florida. And what took place in Florida, like in the Florida Keys and kind of like in the area where the Bermuda Triangle is at or whatever, that's what they have, an island that's on the off coast within the factions of the video game. So it's kind of like the same thing that takes place in the movie Ready Player One, because in order to beat the real game in reality, you got to go within the simulation to beat the game. So the same thing translates with our reality. In order to beat the simulated three-dimensional matrix, you got to go inside these video games. You got to go inside these movies and break down everything. When you go to the last Grand Theft Auto, it was in Liberty City, and the Statue of Liberty was basically an emulation of Hillary Clinton. So they're actually showing you what's taking place with the deep state shadow government and how it's linked to child trafficking, human trafficking in the Epstein files.
It's artificial structure. It's come from another part of the galaxy, transporting other ET races here. We landed on the far side of the moon. We came into a base where the doors open. We went inside. Now, once we're inside, that's when things got interesting. That's when we started to have our integration with little grays. Little grays had come in. We'd learn more telepathy from them, some other skills that they taught us, how to work with the looking glass technology and so forth. Now we're actually going to work with big grays, the large grays. So the large grays are, I look at the little grays as basically being cloned little slaves, unfortunately. And they basically do whatever they're told to do. The large grays are thinkers. They're the ones that are proactive, have free will, like we have free will. Really all the different ETs that we saw in there. And I saw many different types. They usually had their own areas inside there. We had our own area. There's large cities inside the moon.
Three types of reptilians, and some are subterrestrial. They've lived within the vast cavern systems beneath our planet since time immemorial. They've just always been there. Those types of reptilians have been here all along underground. And then there's the extraterrestrial reptilians who literally come from other worlds in our physical plane of existence in our cosmos. And there are a number of alleged sources or places from where they come from, the Orion constellation, Draco, and other places. But third type is kind of a combination. It's interdimensional insofar as they can alter their physical density to the point where they can actually slip into a sleeping human being and essentially take over their astral dreamscape from within.
The moon was told into our solar system from planet Jupiter. Planet Jupiter has an amalgamation of moons. It has many moons. Where you get the word Jesus from is Zeus and Jupiter put together, because Jupiter is also the embodiment of monotheistic religion that's connected to the energy of the moon. Anything that deals with M-O-N, like Monday, money, monopoly, that's connected to the faction of the moon. It's a vibration that is cultivated by materialism. The moon was told here by Draconian reptilians to control us. The moon is what controls the left hemisphere of the brain. But you're supposed to be operating from the place of the middle way because it activates the corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is when the brain is able to transmute into the wings of a dove when you activate the Kundalini serpent. This is what we call the scroll of all, or the tablets of destiny, which is your 7 energy cortexes, your chakra system, which turns you into a god. When you get into ancient Hinduism, Krishna is the outer manifestation of Shiva, and Shiva means 7. And 7 is the embodiment of the god frequency. So that's how you transmute to being a god.
So your blood type will tell you exactly what needs to go in your physiology?
Yep. Some people, you gotta eat meat. You can't practice a vegan diet. Everybody don't have the ability to tap into that energy whatsoever because their genetic format is not hardwired for that dietary system. So for instance, my good friend, Billy Carson, He said that he went sick really bad about being a vegan. So everybody can't acclimate themselves to that dietary system. The blood is the blueprint. The blood is the blueprint of the matrix. Because if you understand your blood, you can break the matrix. So that's why they don't tell a lot of black people about their blood types. They don't want you to know that you O negative, because that's the blood type of the Anunnaki. Because it's original. It's the original blood type. It's the original architect of the universe. That's the original blood type. That is connected to the mitochondrial Eve gene.